taking action for you this morning on TV 20 Detroit starts right now.
What's happening in entertainment with Greg Dunmore of PULSEBEAT.TV.
Welcome to another edition of PULSEBEAT with Greg Dunmore, and there's an energy that comes from young people that only comes when you work from one's heart and soul, and no one is doing it more magnificently than Lisa McCall, choreographer extraordinaire. We're sitting in her home base, which is Voyager College Prep in Southwest Detroit, and Lisa is doing something with young people that is so uplifting that we're excited about sharing her journey. Also, Lauren Sanders of the Sunshine Foundation is working with STEM technology and young people, and she knows that coding is not a thing that is a wave of the future. It's here right now. Coding via Code 313.
Hello, I'm Lauren Sanders for PulseBeat. Now I have a question for you. Where can you get AR, AI, VR, 3D design, coding, robotics, and music production exposures? Well, right here at Detroit's Code 313, of course. So come on inside with me and you can learn where all those little letters are actually related to powerful digital technologies that are changing the world.
First, you're going to work with Mr. Joe Bell to do some stuff in the VR and then use the assets. Then we're going to go to the drone stuff. Have fun, talk. They're going to do a lot of really fun things with us today. And then if we have time, after we have the best pizza in the city, we're going to have a drone relay race. So when you're back there flying, so start thinking about the teams and all that kind of stuff. And then there might be something special at the end, whoever wins that relay.
Code 313 is a nonprofit organization that looks to provide STEM education to the youth and to the kids of Detroit, or most specifically the metro area. And what we try to do is that we try to provide that STEM education to the schools by making it everything that we have accessible to them. So having everything transportable, so our laptops, our VRs, our drones, our robots, is so that we're able to bring that STEAM experience to schools who never experienced STEAM before. All right, how's everybody doing today? Good. So my name is Joe Bell.
What programs are offered here?
So anything that's STEM related, so whether that be from our robotic course, so we teach kids on how to program the robots, like autonomous vehicles, showing them how a robot could drive through a maze by itself, know when it's too close to a wall, which ways to turn. We teach virtual reality where kids learn how to create their own virtual worlds, and from creating those virtual worlds, they're actually able to implement that onto the headsets and go into the virtual world. So that shows them on how they could design and create their own things and actually show it to other people. So whether that be for architecture, so they could design a whole mansion, and then from there they could show off their mansion, they could pitch their mansion to some people, and then that mansion that they had as a dream could actually become reality. So transforming it from virtual reality to actual reality too.
There's going to be a takeoff button. This is also going to be a land button. Once you press it, there'll be a slider. Go ahead and slide it and you'll take off. All right? So whenever you're ready.
I also noticed that you have a really cool creative space. I would call it like an obstacle course for drones, and you have beautiful artwork from a Detroit artist around that. Can you tell us a little bit more about what that space is designed for and how you use it here?
Yep, so we have our drone area, and our drone area is meant for our students to be able to fly the drones. And the tubing, if you notice in there, the tubing actually represents power lines. So when the drone actually flies, so it actually supposed to show them how they're supposed to fly through power lines, how narrow it is, how precise it needs to be to fly the drones. Because when they hit that live wire, their drone's gonna fall flat. So it kind of simulates that over there in our drones. So you have it, give a walking animation, and then you actually tie it in with the coding part, which is you can actually code it to actually walk on a certain type of path.
Tell me a little bit about your journey to becoming an instructor here, because you have a unique story.
When I was 16, I'm 21 now, and when I was in high school, I had a field trip, And that field trip took me to the Microsoft building downtown at Campus Martius. And from there, I was able to meet some of the people that work here at Code 313. And actually, I met Bartel, the executive director at Code 313 there too. And my teacher actually talked to Bartel and my other coworker about, you know, we have this student, he's interested in programming and coding. He just like anything that's tech related. And I just want to see if there are any opportunities for him to do anything. And then from there, I was actually brought to another room, and they basically gave me a rundown of what they was going to show the scholars for that day. And instead of them teaching it, I taught it. From here, you should have this. So you're in your editor phase right now.
That is amazing, the same day you taught it. How did you get interested in tech before meeting Bartel of Code 313?
I would say my whole life I've always been interested in tech. When I was younger, you know, I played a lot of video games, and that kind of led me to want to do game design. And so with that, I searched for, you know, the career path to do game design middle school and in high school. And so in high school, I actually got the chance to be in a computer class where I learned how to do Python, learned the in and out of computing, and some other things. And then from there, I kind of branched off into doing software development, and then from software development, teaching other kids on how to program and stuff. And so that led to me not wanting to do, you know, programming anymore, but instead teaching other kids and the youth on how to actually learn how to do programming and learn how to do these things.
But yet you're teaching other young people, right? They're close to your age. What has that been like for you, and what is their reaction? I
say it's a somewhat closer connection, is because they do look at me and be like, how old are you? They usually ask me the question, how old am I? And I always tell them like 60, I'm 60 years old, you know, I'm 40. I be lying to them. But they never believe it though, but it's just a little fun thing that I like to do with them. And so it actually feels like I'm close to them because I know some of the stuff that they do and say, you know, I know the slang and stuff, and I know how they think and react to certain things. And so I feel like it's a closer connection for me to knowing how to do all these things, like teach them how to do robotics, teach them how to do AR, teach them how to do VR, and also being near their age also helps out.
So if a student or a family wanted to get involved here, what would be their first step? What should they do?
So the first step would be to go onto our website. We have a event calendar where we show off all the events that we do. So whether that be from like our workshops that we host here, or certain events that we do at like outside of Beacon Park, for an example, or go out to the different schools, or we host tables, and we just have multiple ways to get engaged in our STEM courses.
Is this a very expensive program?
No, not at all. So most of our programs are low cost and some are free actually. So I would say Code 313 provides the education that kids would need in the future.
As you can see, today was a very special day with the Sunshine Project nonprofit visiting with many of their participants. But you too can visit here. Just log onto their website, code313detroit.org.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available.
Because I live in Detroit, I was able to get tuition-free college through the Detroit Promise. I feel very fortunate working with the Detroit Promise. They were able to afford me so many opportunities. I'm currently studying media production and journalism at University of Michigan Dearborn. I'm looking to take my talents further into the production industry, short films. I love working with people here, and this is where I want to be. And that's why I'm Detroit for life.
Detroit for life.
There's always excitement at the National Association of Black Journalists. And in Chicago, the excitement centers around so many things, including The Chosen, which is a television show that we're recommending. And also there's a spotlight on the actress Amber Williams, which is maybe going to be the first time that you will hear this, that she is going to be soon the Academy Award winning, the Emmy winning Amber Williams. So stay tuned and watch us as only we give it to you on PULSEBEAT with Greg Dunmore.
Hello.
Hello. Shalom.
It's a beautiful day for picking flowers. Well, if you like Gilboa iris, lupine, and anemone, I sell them in the market.
Is that Egyptian?
Yes, I grew up there. My father was from Ethiopia.
Shaparnaya makamteanak. Shabuta sashasutne sashrutu. Natiu patanaya sunu mahatia.
Tamar, Anaki, Nanioti Juanu.
Anaki Yeshua nanazrati. Hatipuarta snatia.
Haknunak.
You have to watch The Chosen because there's so much to connect there. I think we're all looking for something to connect to in this world, and The Chosen is it. There is someone on that show I guarantee you to identify with, and beyond just being a wonderful show about the life of Jesus Christ, it's amazing cinematography, it's amazing storytelling, amazing artistry. The acting is good. The acting is really good. So at the very least, if you like good television, The Chosen's for you.
And let them know about your character and what you would hope that they take from your character.
Yeah, so my character Tamar is introduced in the first season. She is the woman that brings the paralytic to Jesus for his first public healing. And we follow her journey because I was only supposed to be on there for a day. Tamar's only supposed to be there for a day, and God saw fit to have me on there for the rest of the run of show. And what I really hope people take from Tamar is that they can take up space, own that room and take up space. There is no shame about it.
And would you give a shout out to Detroiters? And because The Chosen is an anointed show, let the Detroiters know that something special will happen, like a blessing. Let them know. Just say Detroiters, say something to the city of Detroit.
Direct to camera.
Yeah.
Okay, Detroit. The Chosen has been waiting for you. The Chosen is going to blow your mind. It is amazing. Thank you so much for those of you who are already watching the show. I'm looking forward to seeing you. If you haven't seen it yet, there's plenty of time to binge seasons 1 through 4. I'm looking forward to it.
And you know what, for the internationalness of your background, Amber, I'm so impressed because you're living in Spain. And because you are the global, international Amber Williams, will you let the audience who is speaking Spanish know something very special?
Yeah, muchas gracias por todo su cariño y estoy muy orgullosa de esa serie. Es la serie de la vida de Jesucristo dentro de los ojos de sus apóstoles, sus seguidores, creo. y ya, como he dicho, estoy muy orgullosa de esta serie y espero que te haya gustado.
Perfecto. Y Amber, tú eres perfecta y tú eres fabulosa. We appreciate you. And last question.
Yes.
Just one secret to success that you can pass on to people who will one day say, I want to be like her.
Oh, let me tell you what you have to do is when you have to make a decision between doing what scares you or being safe, you step on faith and you do what scares you because that's where all the most beautiful things are. And I say that with my whole chest and my whole heart, is if it scares you, just take that step of faith. It's going to guide you wherever you need to go.
May God continue to bless you so you can bless us with your talent, which is God blessed. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
If you are willing, Rabbi, you know you can.
Your faith is beautiful. Son, take heart. Your sins are forgiven. Who is this who speaks blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? Right. But I ask you, which is easier to say? Your sins are forgiven, or rise up and walk? It's easy to say anything, no? But to show you, and so that you may know that the Son of Man has the authority on earth to forgive sins. I say to you, my son, rise, pick up your bed, and go home.
usually does it. Now go on.
Neighborhood beautification. That's very important to Detroit. It's very important to block clubs, organizations, and people who live in the community. We got started with 2 lots and a vision of a treehouse center. Because if we can take these blighted lots, Detroit give us grants to be able to do something with them that the community wants, it's a plus because we're bringing our neighborhoods back to where we want them to be, where they should be. All because I live in Detroit.
You ready to put your podcast on iHeartRadio? Yes, your podcast on iHeartRadio. What about Alexa, Roku, Fire Stick, Apple TV, Android, or iPhone? Plus live TV streaming. Get your podcast seen and heard all over the world. Call 313-868-6612. Pre-recorded shows are accepted to be archived. This is a WHPR distribution platform. Download the app from the App Store. Go to WHPRTV.com. Channels available for lease 24/7 on Roku, Fire Stick, or Apple TV. Coming soon, subscription and pay-per-view.
Also,
Block time is available. Get yours. Call 313-868-6612. That's 313-868-6612. Executive producer R.J. Watkins. Program director Henry Tyler. 107.5 FM WGPR HD2. RadioWeCanSee.com.
I'm in the auditorium of the Detroit Institute of Art where we're going to introduce you to the inspiration that Lisa McCall's Holiday Detroit will give us.
So many shows come around the holiday season. We get great musicals, great Broadway shows every year around the holiday season. But most of us are in the audience. Everybody cannot afford to move to New York, LA, or any other place. Why do we have to move away to have great productions? I want to do Broadway style quality productions in Detroit. And why start with someone 30 or 40 when you got kids that have talent too? So I want these kids to do New York level work and New York level caliber shows at home in Detroit.
When I think of the great choreographers, and that list would of course include Katherine Dunham, Martha Graham, Alvin Ailey, Arthur Mitchell, Judith Jamison, you're on that list. And your expertise is working with young people, and how apropos for us to be seated now talking to you at your home base at Voyager College Prep High School in the heart and soul of Southwest Detroit, Michigan. Why young people as compared to not so young people?
Well, when I was growing up, I had some great people that were my mentors that shaped my life, from Clifford Fears, working with Miss Dunham, working with Mr. Ailey, working with Arthur Mitchell. And we had, through Coleman Young, we had a performing arts program called Festival of the Arts. And even before Festival of the Arts, we had Detroit Council of the Arts. We no longer have programs that are pre-professional based for young artists. And those are life-changing opportunities that I had growing up. And Detroit is the entertainment mecca for artists. We have some of the best artists that come from Detroit. And I don't want people to always think that they have to go to New York, they have to go to LA, they got to go to Philadelphia to good grade training. So I wanted to take my experience and provide opportunities for young people to showcase their talent. And I just wanted to give back. I mean, I come from me, Ali Jackson, James Carter, Kern Brantley. All of us was young, gifted people that had these different platforms. All of us became successful because somebody professionally gave us opportunities. I wanted to do the same thing here in Detroit.
So let us know who this international icon who saw something in you when you were very young that did for you what you're doing right now for young people.
None other than the Queen of Soul herself, Detroit's own Miss Aretha Franklin. I was at Festival of the Performing Arts under Tim Weston, and at the time my teacher, later my mentor, was Clifford Fears, who at the time was Miss Franklin's choreographer. And she did one of her famous parties, lawn parties, and she needed dancers. At the time, I think I was like 12 or 13, I was young. And I remember him going to Aretha and saying, Miss Franklin, I got this really great dancer, she's just young. Since you're having a lawn party, everybody else is older, but can I please use her? She's an amazing dancer. And the rest is history. It started through Clifford Fears.
And Aretha, a lot of people don't realize, was very particular about dancing because she even told me, she said that had I not been this singer, I would have loved to have been a ballerina. And she worked with the best though, because I know that she worked with Louis Johnston.
Louis Johnston, George Faison, even Debbie Allen over the years.
But nobody worked with Aretha longer than you. Nobody. So that is part of your impressive resume.
I bring in professional artists and choreographers and lighting directors, sound engineers. I teach my kids, like I do quizzes on how to do a writer, how to do a technical writer, how to do a budget, how to do wardrobe, revenue, ticket sales. I work hands-on in every aspect of entertainment with my kids, and then I say, these are real jobs. How to do a budget, how to do choreography, how to create, how to take movement from the classroom to the stage. And I think as time go on and they see it coming together, they get excited. They don't come in excited. This is not a performing arts school. So kids don't take dance as seriously, or music or theater like they would at the Detroit School of the Arts. So that passion comes from me. And then I help them find the fire in them. I give them real productions, not like little recitals. And I think it's a harder sell than back in the day. We wanted to dance. We live, eat, breathe dance. Whereas this generation, it's hip hop, it's hip hop, it's hip hop, which is okay. But I expose them to African dance, Brazilian dance, Haitian dance, praise dance, tap dance. I let them do hip hop, and then they find the beauty of movement and they voice in the movement. Then they find the respect for dance, and then they realize that they can do it when they see the audience clapping and coming for them. I got the whole basketball team. So now everybody wants to dance because of my passion and respect for it, and they found the beauty in it. Whereas back in the day, it didn't take much. With the boys, they become more open to African dance and then moving into like praise dance until they get the beauty of it, and then they're open to dance because a lot of the athletes, I explain to them, take dance. And so it's the intense stretching, understanding the storyline of the movement, then it's an easier sell. But just having boys wanting to dance just because it's dance, no. But again, it's what I offer. I know how they think, so I start with African dance and rhythms, slide into hip hop and then praise dance, and then I can teach them any form of dance and they're okay with it. The beauty of Catherine Dunham, she gave black dance its beauty, because years ago, anything that moved from the waist down, Anything from the waist up was restricted, so that was considered beautiful because that was classical. Everything was very rigid. Whereas traditional dance, from the waist down, you might move your hips, and they looked at black dance as not beauty. And Catherine Dunham gave black dance on mainstream media, mainstream stage. She gave black dance is beauty. The problem was, light-skinned dancers was the only ones that they wanted to be in Miss Dunham's company. And she said, no, I want some of the dark-skinned girls, because she brought the Caribbean and the African movement over to the United States. So she gave black dance is beauty, from moving from the waist down. Now getting into classical dance, they looked at our bodies because maybe our thighs was not as thin or our bottoms wasn't as small in their eyes, so our bodies wasn't considered beautiful enough to do classical. No, our bodies was made for us, and the movement that they was doing was not our movement, constricted for us. And what Arthur Mitchell did, or maybe he was the one that gave us our just due, he started getting more dancers and choreographers that found the beauty of the way our bodies was made and how our stories was told through our bodies using classical music and classical form. And that our bodies and movements was just as beautiful as any other culture, but they constricted to our bodies. And it was important for Dance Theater of Harlem to be created to show that our black girls, our brown girls can be just as beautiful doing Giselle or any of these other ballets that was created for our bodies. And that's the beauty. We can do it just as well, if not better, with soul.
Young people may be watching this, but I want you to communicate it from the waist up, and I want you to do it through movement. And then I want you to tell us, what did you communicate to these young people who are watching through some movement? So just do it just
here, and then everything in me, I pass on to you. Simple as that.
Wow, and guess what you're passing on? When I felt this movement, I felt that you were passing on L-O-V-E, love.
Which is a universal language.
Thank you, Lisa McCall. You are legendary, and you are a blessing.
Thank you.
To not only Detroit, but to the world of dance.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching this episode of PULSEBEAT with Greg Dunmore, and remember, each one, teach one, reach one. Thanks for watching. Until the next go round.